You tell the truth, you can have this ice cold bucket of Bud Light. All you have to do is confess.
All right, I'll go first. Grease the wheels a little.
What? No.
I confess that I practice my halftime speeches in the shower before games. Professor Wilkins, you want to confess anything?
No.
All right, I'll go for you. Professor Wilkins has been taking karate classes ever since that saxophone girl put him in a headlock.
That was a secret.
Now it's a beer.
Comedian Shane Gillis teaming up with Bud Light to win back fans in time for college football season. The move, part of Bud Light's redemption efforts after that DEI backlash. And it's not the only company retreating from its diversity initiatives. Both Lowe's and Ford, for instance, announcing rollbacks this week. Now I want to bring in, if we can, District Media Group President Beverly Hallberg and Carol Roth, author of You Will Own Nothing, Your War with a New Financial World Order and How to Fight Back. That's quite a title. Carol, let me start with you. It's been a tough week for DEI. Is it a bit of a death knell, a turning point, if you like, for this issue?
I certainly think so. I think that companies are learning that it takes a lifetime to build a reputation and just a singular moment to kill it. And so we're seeing, somebody like Bud Light try to repair this by pairing with Shane Gillis. The interesting thing is Shane Gillis was somebody himself who was canceled, but he was canceled by the social justice mob and his authentic fans stood by him. When the case of Bud Light, they aligned with the social justice mob and their authentic fans abandoned them. So I think that, what we're going to take away here is that this was the biggest marketing blunder in history. It's going to be a business case study. And as more and more companies are getting in that sort of crosshair, they're having to learn pretty quickly.
It's interesting. And Beverly, it really was the tail wagging the dog, kind of kowtowing, if you like, to a very slim part of society, if you like, and just not really reading the tea leaves properly and alienating their customers. I don't think that's going to happen again, do you?
No, I don't think so. And look, they fell into this trap that a lot of companies fall into, which is focusing on the wrong type of diversity. They focused on a progressive ideology. That's what they were promoting. What they need to focus on is the fact that a diverse customer base can like a product. Look at college football. You're going to have people of all different backgrounds cheering, uniting around the same team, maybe cheersing a Bud Light to each other. That is the type of diversity we want in this country that Bud Light fans are fine with. It's when you insert this political ideology that only resonates with a small swath of Americans that it turns out as poorly as it did for Bud Light.
All right, going to go to our next topic. It's the new college major, apparently, digital media influence. The University of Texas at San Antonio launching the program that basically combines the art of content creation with the science of audience psychology. Maybe Bud Light should have taken this class. Beverly, what do you think? Good idea in today's world?
This may surprise you. I actually think it is a good idea. Now, while I think it's concerning that roughly 50% of Gen Z wants to be a social media influencer, I think there's a huge place for people in the social media career field. So I think it's smart for colleges and universities to focus on these type of academics, because I hear on a constant basis whether or not I can recommend somebody, I work in the communications field, somebody who knows how to deal with social media. So it is a growing field. I think it's smart.
Very good. Carol, I guess, should we be worried when it comes to college return on investment by degree? We've talked about this before. Engineering and computer science, probably a good investment. Theology and visual and performing arts, you know what? They leave students at an average of minus $100,000 return on investment. Shouldn't be surprised, really, though, should we?
We shouldn't, and it's something that if we were smart and we wanted people to actually be successful and not be saddled with debt, especially young people, that we would teach them what return on investment meant. We need an entire overhaul of the college lending process, and one way to do that, Ashley, is to underwrite. If you were taking, no offense to Beverly, social media influence or underwater basket weaving, maybe you shouldn't get as much money as you do if you're studying engineering. And if you part and parcel that, I think that would shift things around and make it more palatable, align what it is that they're charging for the degree with the expected outcome.
This is interesting. It's not just the universities in trouble. South Korea's central bank says hyper-competitive university entrance exams have to be overhauled because they're contributing to the country's declining birth rate. The bank says the intense pressure surrounding the process driving up the cost of education and essentially discouraging young adults from marrying and having children. Boy, talk about the domino effect, Carol.
Well, it's good to know that central banks around the world are just as clueless as the one that we have here in the United States. Somehow, I don't think it's a hyper competitive entrance exam that has to do with the lower birth rates. Certainly, it's a societal issue, and as you have more women who pursue advanced degrees, that does have an impact. But cost of living doesn't just relate to having the entrance exam. So maybe you should have somebody other than the central bank take a crack at this one.
Let me get to this before we have to say goodbye. OpenAI says ChatGPT usage has doubled since last year to more than 200 million weekly active users. Now, restaurants using ChatGPT to generate new recipes with some pretty interesting results. Beverly, how is this technology going to change our lives? Could it change it radically, or is that overstating it?
I think it's all about how you use it. You can use it for good purposes or you can use it for bad purposes. I know colleges and universities are having a very hard time figuring out whether or not their students are cheating when they turn in term papers. So it's all how you use it. However, I do think this could lead to a really fun show on the Food Network, how ChatGPT is helping the competitors compete against each other with their recipes. So maybe it's a new business opportunity.
I think you could be right. We're going to have to leave it right there. We're almost out of time. Beverly and Carol, thank you for having some fun with us on this Friday.